Now, speaking of the Green Brigade, Britain's highways are heading for breaking point, according to a new report, with pothole repairs at an 8-year high. According to the Asphalt Industry Alliance, 2 million potholes are needed to be fixed, up 43% on the previous year. Talk Today correspondent Nick Ellaby has been out and about, speaking to locals in one of the worst affected areas, and that's Chesterfield in Derbyshire.
Tell me about Chesterfield's potholes.
They're horrific at the moment, I've got to say. Every road you drive down, pothole, pothole, pothole after pothole. It's awful. Pretty sure the tracking in my car is gone because of them. They need to get sorted, really.
Tell me about the potholes in Chesterfield.
They're just a genuine nightmare. There's every single road has got potholes on. They're tyre eaters, they're alloy wheel killers. Yeah, and they're just absolutely everywhere.
And have you had any damage to your car or anyone you know?
Yeah, actually, I work as part of the NHS, and one of the doctors had to call in once because he basically ruined all wishbones on his car and suspension, basically just ripped the entire lot out.
Have you or anyone you know damaged their car because of them?
Yeah, I know someone at work. She's gone through one and it's just punctured a tyre. She's had to write to council and stuff.
Yeah, I had a flat tyre last week.
From the potholes?
Yeah, from the potholes.
Are they being fixed?
No, I've reported it multiple times to the council and they've just done nothing. My family have tried reporting it and you just can't get through.
That'll be because they're all working from home. It comes as councils launch a new war on motorists, with dozens applying for the right to issue fines if drivers get caught in yellow boxes. You'd want to hope that some of that money will be put towards fixing the state of the roads, but it's probably unlikely, isn't it? Joining me now, though, is the man himself, Mr. Pothole, otherwise known as Mark Morrell. Mark, and very, very good evening. Welcome back to the Independent Republic of Mike Graham. You and I have been talking about potholes for longer than I'd care to remember, but it has seemed to have reached kind of crisis point with all those people. You barely talk to anybody now who hasn't had some kind of damage to their car done because of a horrendous pothole.
Yeah, you're right. That Asphalt Industry Alliance report today saying that the backlog currently stands at £16.3 billion and worrying that in 15 years' time, 53% of our roads will be structurally fouled. So this needs to be a turning point. I mean, unless government actually invest in an annual resurfacing programme, and that needs to be a multi-billion pound year on year like other countries, then we're going to end at a very sorry state. I mean, it's horrendous. I mean, Chesterfield, I get quite a few things in Derbyshire and around Chesterfield through my social media feeds. And, the actual backlog got worse by £2.2 billion in 12 months.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? And tell us, because you're the expert here, exactly who is responsible for fixing potholes, because it might vary depending on where you are, right?
Yeah, local authorities generally for your local roads, and the motorways and national trunk roads are national highways. Now, this report only covers local roads. I've never seen the motorways and trunk roads in the condition they are. I had people sending me pictures of the M20 the other day with potholes on. I mean, if someone comes into the UK and they come onto our roads, I had a German guy contact me and said it was horrendous coming into the country.
Yeah. Well, I mean, certainly anyone who drives in continental Europe will say that the roads in every other country apart from this one are so much better than ours. But, of course, if you go to Spain, a lot of their roads were built by EU money, which we contributed to. And apparently we were too rich of a country to get any of that EU money. So our roads are now worse than Spain's.
Yeah, we're 37th in the world. The last one that was done in assessment was done in 2019 prior to the pandemic for a G7 nation. Places like Cyprus are above us.
Yeah, Cyprus, the roads are absolutely fantastic. I would say one or two things to you at this point, Mark. Clearly there's more vehicles on the roads than ever before because people are taking to the roads more often than not because it's now the cheapest form of travel, despite the fact that, it's more and more expensive to drive. It's still cheaper than, say, taking 4 people on a train journey somewhere, where you end up costing the family an absolute fortune. Also, I wonder how much of an effect very, very much heavier vehicles are having. I'm talking, of course, about electric vehicles, electric buses, electric lorries, electric vans, electric cars. They are very, very heavy, and I wonder how much of this damage is being caused because those vehicles are so heavy.
Yeah, it doesn't help. And also you get the initial load from an electric motor through the wheels. It puts more stresses on the highway. Now, when you've got highways that have been neglected for decades that have got cracking and crazy in them, it doesn't take a lot for the rain to get in there. And then them vehicles passing over and they cause like a hydrostatic pressure. So like a wedge being driven into them and the heavier the vehicle, more so. But it's a perfect storm. It's just been decades of underinvestment. It's not just the current government, it's previous governments. They've been ignored. Now it's come to a point where, we've got an election coming up. I think everybody really needs to voice the situation to whoever wants their vote, whether it be local elections or national election, to say that as road users, we're paying over £50 billion a year into various taxation on our roads, and government currently only give £1.2 billion. And you'll get the Department of Transport say we're going to give an extra £8.3 billion over 11 years. That's enough to do 5,000 miles of road resurfacing. Let's put that in context. That's 2.5% of the road network in England and Wales.
Yeah.
Currently, 20% of our roads need resurfacing and major works. And as we know, by we get in 15 years' time, it'd be 53%. And you'd be talking sort of up to £100 billion.
Yeah, exactly right. And so there really should be some amount of money ring-fenced, shouldn't there, by local authorities, either whether it be from council tax or whether it be from the amount of money they get from central government, that they must spend on fixing these things. Because presumably the other problem we've got is that depending on which part of the country you're in, some of them get fixed better than others.
Yeah, I mean, the quality of repairs is an issue. There is some very good machinery like that Pothole Pro from JCB that it drives better repairs. But I think we need to change the whole system, because at the moment, we talk about road tax. Well, that obviously goes into the central exchequer. Other countries have a road tax and the money's spent on the roads. I mean, we need to change things. Doing the same thing the same way and expecting a different result is madness, I'm afraid. And I think we need to change the whole concept. 80% of it's about funding. The rest of it's about management, quality control, better materials, better training. The whole thing needs to be changed and the culture needs to be changed.
Yes. And I was talking to a friend of mine who lives in one of the southeast counties who said that his local high street was dug up recently, and there's a contract that exists between the people doing the digging and the people kind of doing the coning off of the work, if you like. And if the people doing the digging stop earlier in the day, the people who are blocking the road with all the cones and the fences and everything else, they don't get paid a full day's work unless they stay there for the full day. So they keep the fences up even though the actual work is finished, which causes all manner of disruption and traffic jams. But also, when they took the stuff away, the hole wasn't properly filled in.
Yeah, I mean, utilities works. In the past, when councils had some more resources in there, they could police them. Because councils have cut successively on staff numbers, it means that the roads and the assets actually failing. I mean, you can fine utilities, but you've got to catch them out. You've got to have a situation where you've got to be proactive. Yes, you might have to spend a little money in the first place, but there's revenues councils can get from fining utilities that underperform.
Yeah. Absolutely right. Mark Morrell, good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. Also known, of course, as Mr. Pothole. The problem gets worse and worse and worse. As I said, me and Mark have been talking about this for a very, very long time. And the pothole problem has always been very high in the minds of everybody who drives. Because if you've got insurance on your car, your insurance will go up if you hit a pothole and it needs repairing. And if you have got insurance on your car, some of it will not cover an accident caused by you hitting a pothole. So it's an absolute nightmare. And we'll be talking, I'm sure, lots more about it, because the Tory party are trying to tell us that they know that this is a problem for people and they're going to be helping them out. Really? Are they? Is it just another pipe dream? We shall see.